ask you to tell me about yourself, would you know who you are? I know you could probably tell me your interests, passions, and hobbies, but could you articulate your attributes, motivations, and essentially who you are fundamentally at your core? I have often asked myself, who am I? My response before this journey would have been something along the lines of, I am a student, I like to dance, and I like to write, which are all true, but they don't reveal anything specific about my character. I'm sure a lot of you can identify with this longing for comprehending who we truly are, where we belong, and what we are meant to do with our lives. We often question our values in group settings when we conform to compromise amongst our peers or are too afraid to voice our opinions at the dinner table. It is only when we let ourselves experience the loneliness of isolation that we can realize what it means to seek our full potential. In our time, the navigation of identity is not dissimilar to that of Al-Ghazali, a Muslim scholar and mystic who lived in the Seljuk period. He spent his life searching for perspectives and experiences to either confirm or refute the meaning of life. Catalyzed by a sense of doubt that he faced, his journey followed the study of experimenting with different beliefs and lifestyles, drawing conclusions in order to move forward. Similarly, a common thread that has been woven throughout my journey with identity has been the drive to seek diverse opportunities larger than myself in order to draw conclusions and move forward. All initiated by a point of low self-esteem and doubt. I'm going to take you on my journey from community to self-identity in a series of encounters. My first encounter with finding a piece of myself occurred in Jamaat-khana, the space of worship from my faith community. Attending every week turned quickly into wearing a volunteer uniform and becoming a special helper. My earliest memories are of being a volunteer with one of my best friends. As we got older, I began to feel like I did not fit in socially. But instead of shying away from isolation, I embraced it and sought out opportunity to put my head down and work hard. Slowly, I realized that helping out was something I enjoyed. I understood that not everyone would accept me no matter what I did, and that meant I could be whomever I wanted to. Eventually, through leading the student teams and congregational services, I made solid connections with other kids in my community. Despite the lack of these relationships earlier on, I did not change who I was to fit in. And from this began the solidification of my identity. I learned after a long journey that you don't get along with everyone, but volunteering opens the possibility of learning how to get along with different kinds of people. It teaches you to appreciate the value of differences in a working environment. During my attendance at Jamaat-khana, I learned the Islamic teaching of diverse expressions of faith, and that the practice of an ethic is considered to be a practice of religion. So therefore, the act of serving our community and making sacrifices to help others is a way for me to put into practice my faith in everyday life. Another large part of my everyday life is dance. Now, I would be lying if I said that dance came easy to me. There have been so many moments when I have felt like giving up. I started a lot later than the other girls and didn't train as much at first. I found myself in a group of girls who were not only a lot younger, but a lot shorter, which made me stand out. I was picked on constantly. However, if you are truly passionate about something, you will keep at it because that is the only way to get better. When I was finally seeing improvement, I got to sign up to Student Teach. I was assigned to a jazz class and got to work with so many dancers. Some were even older than me, which made me realize that I was not the only one who started late. Everyone has to start somewhere. Through this experience, I encountered Gabby, who was around 8 at the time. She was new, and although she was one of the underdogs, she had a passion and a great work ethic. I was asked to help her with the feature part she had been given, with some of the more seasoned dancers that she was struggling with. Come competition time, Gabby had perfected the steps with my help and had built up her own confidence. I would say this was probably the biggest turning point for me. to have kids look up to me, and to watch someone that I had taught stand out in her group. Gabby has since moved studios, but before she left, she told me that she was as good as she was because of me. After I heard this, I have never felt so sure. Even though I will never be perfect, I was able to make something out of someone by inspiring them to pursue their passion. And just like me, Gabby never gave up. In Gabby's case, she is definitely going to turn out a lot better than I am. But I'm okay with that, because I have learned that it's not about competition and comparison. It's about inspiring others so that they can grow. In the Ismaili community, there are teachers called Dais, who have many virtues and qualities, and were learned and cultured individuals. When they weren't teaching, they were learning through service to their community. They not only supported and served their community, but learned and grew, gaining a deeper understanding of themselves and their calling. Through working hard in service, I was able to gain more than I had intended on giving. Student teaching and being in this leadership role gave me the kind of confidence that is applicable in not only dance situations, but all aspects of life. Before I understood the true meaning of identity, if asked who I was, I would respond, I am a dancer. But what does that tell you about me? You can only infer what qualities I value in life. Little did I know the accessibility of figuring out the deeper meaning of who I am was just by lending a hand in an area of interest. The third encounter with the community service initiative that contributed to this journey was volunteering for Leisure Buddies, a program that connects volunteers to children with cognitive challenges and activities such as summer camp and swimming lessons. Becoming a Leisure Buddy has changed my perspective. In January of 2018, I started helping out a girl named Charlie in swimming lessons. Charlie is a 6-year-old girl who was delayed due to a gene deletion. Her main difficulty was attention span, and she often got bored with whatever drill the coach was having them do. At first, she did not want to share even her favorite color with me, but a few weeks into the lessons, she did not want anyone helping her but me. Every Saturday morning, I would look forward to swimming with Charlie. I noticed how even though it was harder for her to pick stuff up, she was not discouraged with any feedback that she received. It only made her want to swim more. Every week after the lesson, Charlie would ask me to stay a little while longer to hang out. We would talk and laugh, and it truly brightened my day. After this encounter, I came to a conclusion. I don't particularly believe that I was destined to help Charlie. Anyone could have been there for her when I was. I believe that our encounter was for me, at a time when I lacked purpose. His Highness the Aga Khan spoke eloquently about encounters. He said encounters are complex, rich, and of many dimensions, and when they occur between people, their entire identities are involved. The encounter I had with Charlie was more complex than me providing her with the comfort to participate in recreational sports. I was there to make a difference in Charlie's life, while she was the one making a difference in mine. In order to have a successful journey to identity, I needed to learn and listen to those around me who were indirectly teaching me and take note. In moments when you feel lost and confused, turn to doing something for someone else, because volunteering provides young individuals with a purpose and identity. By actively engaging in community service, you develop and learn countless skills, find what motivates you, what values you are most driven by, and fundamentally, who you are at your very core. You get more than you give. Life has a lot of setbacks. Your journey to self-identity will not be direct or linear, but will always entail reaching out. If you seek out community service, dedicate yourself to your role, and take note of what those around you have to offer, it will be a rewarding journey that repeats itself throughout your life, like a cycle. If asked today, who am I would answer, I am disciplined, I am dedicated, and I love to learn, but I am still growing. All aspects that I've gained from my hobbies and interests that do reflect specifically on my character. As I look back on some of my most memorable experiences, the events that shaped me the most, and the moments that have made me most proud, I can honestly say that the majority of them occurred while I was serving my community. Just from these 3 stories, I gained friends, a sense of belonging, confidence, and a purpose. And finally, I wanted to end with a quote from Gandhi. The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. Thank you.